Hollywood is a place where fame can flip in a heartbeat. One bad choice, one careless comment, or a single moment of weakness can bring an entire career crashing down. Over the years, many stars have risen to dazzling heights, only to see everything unravel because of one impulsive decision. In today's story, we take a closer look at 13 Black actresses who once ruled the spotlight but faced devastating consequences for actions they believed were harmless at the time. Their journeys stand as powerful cautionary tales, reminding us how quickly success can disappear. Stay with us until the very end to witness how fast the lights faded and how painfully they lost it all. Hazel Scott. Hazel Scott, the brilliant star who dimmed after daring to defy an empire. In the 1940s and 1950s, she stood as one of the most magnetic forces in music and film, mesmerizing audiences across America and Europe with lightning-fast piano mastery, a velvet voice, and a confidence that felt revolutionary. More than a performer, she was a trailblazer, the first Black woman to host her own television program, The Hazel Scott Show, a groundbreaking achievement that redefined what was possible on American screens. Yet at the very height of her success, the world that once applauded her turned cold. In 1950, at the peak of her brilliance, Hazel could never have imagined that one fearless stand would nearly erase her from the spotlight. During the Red Scare, an era fueled by fear and suspicion, she openly challenged the House Un-American Activities Committee and condemned the injustice of political persecution. Her words landed like thunder in a silent room. Refusing to bow, refusing to betray her principles, she faced the storm head-on, but the cost was devastating. Soon after, The Hazel Scott Show was abruptly canceled. Television networks cut ties, film offers vanished overnight, and Hollywood closed its doors as if she had never existed. Blacklisted and watched by the FBI, Hazel's once radiant career faded like a star swallowed by darkness. Forced into exile, she moved to Europe hoping to rebuild what had been torn away, but financial hardship and emotional exhaustion followed her across the ocean. Though loyal fans still admired her brilliance, the magic of her earlier fame could never fully return, leaving behind a life that felt like rain on parched earth, brief, beautiful, and gone too soon. The heartbreak deepened when her marriage to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. crumbled beneath the strain of loss and relentless public pressure. Loneliness crept in, depression took hold, and the dazzling lights that once defined her world became distant echoes. By the late 1960s, her mental health had declined severely, and despite every effort to reclaim her place, the industry she helped shape had moved on without her. When Hazel Scott passed away on October 2, 1981, at just 61 years old, many no longer remembered the trailblazing icon she had been, only the tragic figure who paid dearly for speaking truth to power. Yet beneath the silence remains the legacy of a fearless pioneer, a buried talent, a radiant star whose brilliance still flickers through the history of American music and television. Nina Simone. Nina Simone. A fearless civil rights voice that came with a heartbreaking cost. Gifted beyond measure as a singer, songwriter, and pianist, Nina Simone left a permanent imprint on music and history. She wasn't just a brilliant performer, she was a warrior for justice, using her voice to expose pain, demand dignity, and challenge a nation to confront its deepest wounds. But the same fire that made her legendary also placed her career in the crosshairs. In 1964, at the height of her fame, Nina released Mississippi Goddam, a song that would forever define her legacy. Written in response to the assassination of Medgar Evers and the Birmingham church bombing that killed 4 young Black girls, it was a fierce, unfiltered cry against racism and violence. The song didn't just resonate with Black audiences, it shook America to its core with its raw honesty and fearless defiance. Yet that courage came at a devastating price. By boldly calling out systemic racism and powerful Southern politicians, Nina quickly became a target. Mississippi Goddam was banned across Southern radio stations, concert bookings disappeared, and the industry began turning its back on her. Once celebrated, she was suddenly labeled too radical, too angry, and too dangerous. Record deals vanished, opportunities collapsed, and the career she had built with relentless passion began to crumble. Nina struggled to understand why her truth was punished so harshly. She had only wanted to give voice to her community's suffering and fight for a better world. But America, especially those who controlled the music industry, wasn't ready for her fearless honesty. History often demands a heavy sacrifice from those brave enough to speak out, and Nina paid dearly for her courage. Eventually, America no longer felt like a stage she could stand on. Seeking both safety and survival, she left her homeland behind. From Barbados to Liberia to Europe throughout the 1970s, her journey became more than relocation. It was an escape from rejection, betrayal, and wounds that never fully healed. Though later recognized as an immortal icon of civil rights and musical brilliance, her career in the United States never regained its former glory. In her later years, Nina continued to perform and create across the world, earning deep respect from international audiences. Yet the American spotlight that once embraced her had dimmed forever. Her life remains one of the most powerful and painful stories in music history, a legacy shaped by courage, sacrifice, and unshakable truth. Nina Simone passed away on April 21, 2003, leaving behind a timeless legacy in music and the fight for civil rights, and a haunting reminder that speaking truth to power often comes with a devastating cost. Whoopi Goldberg, a Hollywood icon brought to a halt by one painful misstep. For decades, she shined as one of the most recognizable and respected voices in entertainment, captivating audiences with unforgettable performances in The Color Purple and Ghost, and later becoming a powerful presence on ABC's The View. Her career was built on talent, resilience, and a fearless voice that left a deep mark on film and television. But on one fateful day, a single remark ignited a storm she never saw coming. Years of admiration suddenly stood on fragile ground because of one controversial statement. On January 31, 2022, during a live episode of The View, Whoopi joined a heated discussion about Mouse, the Holocaust graphic novel that had been banned in some Tennessee schools. The conversation touched on deep historical pain and sensitive truths. In the middle of the debate, she stated that the Holocaust was not about race, but about white people fighting white people, words that instantly triggered a wave of shock and outrage. Though not intended to offend, many felt her comment minimized the racial reality and suffering endured by Jewish people during one of history's darkest tragedies. In that moment, a single sentence became a defining turning point she could not take back. The backlash was immediate and intense, especially from Jewish communities and historians who accused her of ignorance and disrespect toward the millions who perished. Fans and critics alike struggled to reconcile the beloved artist they knew with the controversy unfolding before them. Whoopi quickly issued public apologies, on Twitter and on the following broadcast, but the outrage continued to spread. ABC responded by suspending her from The View for 2 weeks, a rare and serious decision that reflected the magnitude of the situation. The fallout went far beyond a temporary suspension. Advertising partnerships disappeared, and the name Whoopi Goldberg, once synonymous with wisdom and prestige, became entangled in debates about historical understanding. Social media erupted with relentless criticism, reshaping public perception almost overnight. Although she eventually returned to The View, the glow surrounding her career had undeniably dimmed. Film opportunities slowed, and producers became cautious about attaching her to new projects. The once celebrated symbol of humor and resilience now carried the weight of controversy and scrutiny. More than a personal career setback, the incident sparked a wider conversation about the responsibility public figures hold when speaking on sensitive historical issues. The cost for Whoopi wasn't just lost contracts or fewer roles. It was the invisible fracture of trust from millions who had long admired her voice and influence. A single moment had reshaped a legacy built over decades, reminding the world how fragile fame can be in the age of instant reaction and collective memory. Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams, the Miss America queen whose rise was shaken by a devastating scandal. In 1983, she made history as the first black woman ever crowned Miss America, a groundbreaking victory that inspired millions and signaled a new era of representation. Almost overnight, she became one of the most sought-after new stars in entertainment, with promising opportunities in music, film, and television lighting her path. Her future seemed unstoppable, until a single scandal changed everything. In the summer of 1984, at the very height of her fame, private nude photos she had taken years earlier, as a young woman still learning the harsh realities of the industry, were suddenly published by Penthouse magazine without her control. The fallout was swift and brutal. The same world that had celebrated her historic achievement turned against her, transforming her image from a symbol of grace into a target of public shame. Under immense pressure, Vanessa was forced to relinquish her Miss America crown less than a year after winning it, a shocking moment that rattled both the entertainment and beauty industries. The consequences were immediate and painful. Endorsement deals vanished. Acting roles disappeared. Friends and professional allies distanced themselves as controversies surrounded her name. Once hailed as a flawless icon, she faced relentless criticism and widespread boycotts, left to rebuild her life while battling emotional and financial hardship. From 1984 through the early 1990s, major opportunities were scarce, and her once brilliant career seemed to fade into the shadows. But Vanessa refused to be defined by her lowest moment. Through resilience and determination, she slowly rebuilt her reputation, ultimately delivering a powerful comeback, highlighted by her acclaimed role in Ugly Betty in 2006, which reminded audiences of her undeniable talent and strength. Music projects and later performances helped restore public respect, even if the early brilliance of her initial stardom was never fully recaptured. Today, Vanessa Williams is remembered not only for her groundbreaking achievements, but also for her remarkable perseverance. Her story stands as both a cautionary tale about the unforgiving nature of fame and a powerful testament to resilience, proof that even after the harshest storms, it's possible to rise again with dignity and strength. Stacey Dash. Once the stylish breakout star of Clueless, 1995, and a familiar face in late 90s Hollywood, she seemed destined for a long, successful career. Known for her role as Dion and a string of supporting appearances throughout the decade, Dash was widely viewed as a rising talent with undeniable screen presence. But everything changed in 2014 when she shifted from acting to political commentary on Fox News. What began as a new chapter quickly turned into a storm of controversy that reshaped her public image, from beloved actress to one of the most polarizing voices in entertainment. In January 2016, Dash stunned viewers during a Fox News appearance when she declared that Black History Month and Black entertainment television should be abolished, arguing that they created division and represented reverse discrimination. She further criticized the #OscarsSoWhite movement, accusing its supporters of hypocrisy for demanding diversity while maintaining platforms like BET. Her remarks struck many in the Black community as deeply hurtful and dismissive, sparking intense backlash and widespread disappointment from former fans who once admired her. The reaction was swift and unforgiving. Many accused Dash of turning her back on her own community and dismissing long-standing struggles for equality. As criticism grew louder, her career began to unravel. Acting opportunities disappeared, public support faded, and her once promising presence in Hollywood dimmed almost overnight. By March 2016, Fox News cut ties with her amid mounting pressure from viewers and sponsors, a decisive blow that left her professional future uncertain. Advertising deals vanished, casting calls stopped coming, and the industry that once celebrated her seemed to move on without hesitation. In the years that followed, Dash attempted to reinvent herself in politics, but those efforts failed to gain traction. By 2021, she publicly admitted that her controversial comments had severely damaged her career, expressing regret over the choices that led her down such a difficult path. Her story stands as a powerful reminder of how quickly public perception can shift and how words spoken in the spotlight can reshape a legacy. From a vibrant actress with limitless potential to a cautionary tale about fame, controversy, and consequence, Stacey Dash's journey remains one of Hollywood's most dramatic transformations. Omarosa Manigault Newman, once a breakout star from The Apprentice, 2004, and later a controversial White House insider, built a reputation on boldness, ambition, and unapologetic confidence. Known for her fiery personality in reality TV, she eventually stepped into politics as a communications aide in the Trump administration. But by late 2017, her story took a dramatic and highly public turn that reshaped how the world saw her. After a tense and widely reported dismissal from the White House in December 2017, Omarosa didn't fade quietly into the background. She went on the offensive. She entered Celebrity Big Brother in 2018 and released her explosive memoir Unhinged, pulling back the curtain on her time inside the administration. The biggest shock came when she revealed secret recordings of conversations with high-ranking officials, including President Trump and Chief of Staff John Kelly. In August 2018, she aired portions of these tapes on Meet the Press, igniting national controversy and accusing Trump of using racist language behind closed doors. While some praised her for speaking out, critics accused her of chasing headlines and boosting book sales. Publicly labeling Trump a con artist while allegedly violating a non-disclosure agreement, she soon faced legal action from Trump's campaign seeking millions in damages. The fallout was swift and severe. Her credibility suffered, former allies branded her disloyal, and both political and entertainment circles distanced themselves. Though she later resurfaced on smaller reality shows like House of Villains, 2023, the influence and respect she once commanded had faded. Her journey became a cautionary tale about ambition, controversy, and the heavy price that can come when personal battles collide with public power. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, the hip-hop queen. Once a radiant force who defined an era, she rose to legendary status in the late 1990s, leaving an unforgettable imprint on music and film. Her groundbreaking 1998 album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill stunned the world with its fearless fusion of hip-hop, soul, and raw honesty, while her unforgettable role in Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit helped cement her as a cultural icon for Black audiences and young fans across the globe. But as the 2000s unfolded, her journey took an unexpected and turbulent turn. Between 2005 and 2013, a series of controversies and personal struggles began to overshadow her brilliance. Concerts were abruptly canceled, fans were left waiting for hours, and promoters grew wary as headlines painted her as unpredictable and unreliable. The breaking point came in 2012 to 2013, when Hill faced charges for failing to pay roughly $1.8 million in taxes tied to earnings from 2005 to 2007. The name once spoken with admiration suddenly carried whispers of chaos and controversy. During her 2013 trial, her outspoken criticism of the tax system ignited even more backlash, fueling public scrutiny at the worst possible moment. The result was a 3-month prison sentence, time that not only cost her freedom but fractured the artistic path she had fought so hard to build. Though released later that year, Hill struggled to regain the towering presence she once held. Sporadic performances couldn't erase years of absence, and major labels and large-scale productions kept their distance. Her film career quietly faded, and the industry that once celebrated her brilliance grew distant. Later revelations about her mental health struggles offered deeper context, but public perception proved difficult to change. Fans who once saw an untouchable star now witnessed a complicated legacy shaped by triumph, controversy, and heartbreak. The dazzling career that once lit up a generation dimmed into a bittersweet memory, an echo of a golden era that still lingers in music history. Eartha Kitt, the unforgettable Catwoman, a dazzling performer, and a fearless voice, rose to fame with a presence that could light up any stage or screen. She captivated audiences as Catwoman in Batman, 1967, enchanted listeners with timeless hits like Santa Baby, and proved her dramatic power in films such as Anna Lucasta, 1958. With her hypnotic voice, fierce intelligence, and unbreakable spirit, she became a symbol of glamour and resilience. But on January 18, 1968, one moment of raw honesty would change the course of her life forever. Invited to a White House luncheon hosted by First Lady Bird Johnson, Kitt attended as a respected Black artist and outspoken supporter of civil rights. The event focused on juvenile delinquency and the Vietnam War, and many expected polite conversation. Instead, Kitt delivered a truth that stunned the room. Standing before powerful politicians and influential leaders, she openly condemned the Vietnam War and U.S. policies. When asked why American youth were rebelling, she responded with piercing clarity, "How could young people not protest when their friends were being sent to die in a senseless war?" Her words were not reckless, they were courageous, reflecting deep frustration with injustice and the heavy price paid by a generation. The backlash was swift and ruthless. Government agencies labeled her a threat, major studios canceled contracts, and American venues shut their doors to her. Practically overnight, Eartha Kitt was blacklisted. The country that once celebrated her brilliance suddenly erased her from its stages and screens. Forced into exile, she rebuilt her career across Europe and Asia, where audiences still embraced her talent and fearless spirit. Though she achieved success abroad, the American spotlight she once commanded was never fully restored. More than a decade later, Kitt made a powerful return to Broadway in Timbuktu. 1978, reminding the world of her undeniable artistry. Yet the scars of 1968 remained, a lasting symbol of the risks faced by artists who dare to challenge authority. Once seen as a glamorous icon, she became a powerful reminder of the cost of speaking truth to power. Eartha Kitt passed away on December 25, 2008, leaving behind a legacy defined not only by unforgettable music and performances, but also by unwavering courage. Her story stands as both a celebration of artistic brilliance and a sobering reflection on how fiercely the system can push back against those bold enough to question it. Foxy Brown, a legendary rapper whose rise was as explosive as her fall was heartbreaking. In the mid-1990s, she stood at the forefront of hip-hop, dominating charts with her iconic 1996 debut Il Na Na and captivating audiences with her fierce confidence, magnetic presence, and unforgettable voice. From her acting role in Wu, 1998, to a blazing music career, Foxy became one of the most beloved female rappers of her era, a symbol of power, charisma, and unapologetic talent. But the years between 2007 and 2008 marked a dark and devastating turning point. A series of scandals began to overshadow her achievements and push her career toward a painful standstill. In 2007, the entertainment world was shocked when she was arrested for assaulting a Brooklyn nail technician during a billing dispute, an incident that quickly spiraled into damaging headlines and fractured her public image. The following year, chaos erupted again when she caused a scene at JFK Airport, allegedly attacking staff and being arrested in front of flashing cameras. What once seemed like isolated controversies soon defined the narrative around her, transforming a respected artist into a figure seen as reckless and out of control. Media coverage relentlessly tied her name to violence and scandal, and the industry, along with the public, struggled to look past her impulsive actions. Brown was sentenced to a year in prison, serving 8 months behind bars, and ultimately lost her contract with Def Jam. Her anticipated album Black Roses was shelved, crushing hopes for a triumphant comeback. From a star shining at the very top of hip-hop, she became a fading memory in an industry that moves on quickly. Though she attempted to return with mixtapes after 2010, the magic of her earlier reign never fully returned. The once brilliant icon slowly drifted into obscurity, a powerful and sobering reminder of how quickly fame can unravel when control is lost. Remy Ma, the hip-hop queen whose empire crumbled in a single, irreversible moment. Born Reminisce Mackie, she rose like a force of nature, commanding the mic with raw energy on hits like Lean Back with Terror Squad and her breakout album There's Something About Remy, 2006. She was bold, unstoppable, a star blazing at full power. But at the height of her fame in July 2007, everything unraveled at a Manhattan party. A heated argument exploded after she accused close friend Makita Barnes-Joseph of stealing $3,000 from her purse. In a flash of rage, she fired a gun, striking her friend in the abdomen, a shocking act that stunned fans and dominated headlines across outlets like BET News and Love and Hip Hop New York. Arrested and charged with assault, illegal weapon possession, and attempted murder, Remy Ma received an 8-year prison sentence that shattered her momentum. After serving 6 years behind bars, she returned to a world that had moved on, record deals with Terror Squad and Universal Records gone, her once glorious image replaced by controversy. Though she fought for a comeback with Love and Hip Hop and the 2016 smash All the Way Up, the magic of her early reign never fully returned. Acting roles faded, opportunities slipped away, and the name Remy Ma became forever intertwined with scandal, a brilliant career eclipsed by one tragic decision, leaving behind echoes of what once was and the heavy weight of regret. Marion Jones. Once crowned the Golden Queen of the Olympics, her legacy was shattered by a single confession that changed everything. With 5 dazzling medals from Sydney 2000, Jones stood as one of track and field's brightest stars, a symbol of American pride, strength, and unstoppable ambition. She graced television screens, embraced celebrity life, and even stepped into acting with the game in 2007. But behind the triumphs, a storm was building. In October 2007, during a stunning ABC News interview, Jones finally admitted what many had long suspected. She had used steroids before the 2000 Olympics and had lied under oath to cover it up. Defying her lawyer's advice, she chose honesty, but the truth came with devastating consequences. Her tearful public apology only intensified the outrage, as fans and the sports world grappled with a sense of deep betrayal. Within weeks, she was stripped of all 5 Olympic medals, banned from competition, and sentenced to 6 months in prison for perjury. Endorsements vanished overnight, including major deals with brands like Nike, and her once heroic image was replaced by scandal and disgrace. Television opportunities disappeared, and the sports community turned its back on her. Even a later attempt to rebuild through professional basketball could not restore the glory she had lost, leaving Marion Jones as one of the most tragic cautionary tales in modern sports history. Roxanne Shante, a fearless rap pioneer whose rise was as explosive as her fall. Bursting onto the scene in the 1980s, she became a defining voice of hip-hop with her breakout hit, Roxanne's Revenge, 1984, and a standout role in Crush Groove, 1985. Known for razor-sharp lyricism, intense rap battles, and magnetic interviews, she commanded respect in a male-dominated industry. But by the late 80s, controversy began to overshadow her talent. During radio appearances and on MTV Raps, 1989 to 1991, she publicly criticized rising female artists like MC Lyte and Salt-N-Pepa, labeling them unoriginal and accusing them of copying her style. Her blunt words ignited tension across the hip-hop community, turning admiration into backlash almost overnight. Fans and fellow artists pushed back hard, and the consequences were swift. Her deal with Cold Chillin' Records ended, bookings disappeared, and her momentum collapsed. Throughout the 1990s, she released no major albums, and her once dominant presence faded from the spotlight. By the end of the decade, Roxanne Shante was nearly absent from mainstream hip-hop, resurfacing only in small projects and later in the 2017 biographical film Roxanne Roxanne. Once celebrated as a trailblazer, her legacy became tangled in controversy, leaving little room for the career growth many once expected. An Oscar winner whose rise to the top turned into one of Hollywood's most debated downfalls. After her unforgettable performance in Precious, 2009, earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, she stood at the peak of fame, celebrated, respected, and widely expected to dominate the industry for years to come. But instead of riding that momentum, a series of bold and controversial choices reshaped her path. Monique declined to promote Precious at international festivals and refused unpaid appearances, sparking tension behind the scenes. The conflict escalated when she publicly called out powerful figures like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and director Lee Daniels, accusing them of blacklisting her for demanding fair treatment. Her fiery interviews and unfiltered television appearances quickly branded her as difficult, and in an industry known for protecting its image, the backlash was swift. Major roles disappeared, and the once rising A-list star found herself navigating smaller projects, reality television, and low-profile appearances. Even her 2018 discrimination lawsuit against Netflix reignited controversy rather than restoring her reputation. What could have been a legendary Hollywood reign slowly faded into a complicated legacy, one shaped by talent, truth, conflict, and consequence. Every story like this serves as a cautionary tale, revealing the delicate balance between integrity and survival in the dazzling yet unforgiving world of entertainment. What do you think happens when actresses once hailed as Hollywood royalty watch everything unravel after one impulsive moment? Does Hollywood deliver fair judgment, Or is the game always controlled by power behind the curtain? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for upcoming stories that uncover the hidden truths of an industry few truly understand.